and it's going to be green light racing here at Monza. Here goes Noah. He's going to try and go wheel to wheel with the leader. Vic once again back on the top step. We did say take it easy. Oh my goodness. Sinead's going to go for it here into 14, 15. Side by side, is it going to be Mercedes or is it going to be a BMW?
Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining us here. We are about to join the drivers in Barcelona in just a moment or two. But first of all, don't forget to check out the Phoenix Sim Sport shop at phoenixsimsport.co.uk. You have some really awesome merch for sale for you on there. As you can see on screen, caps, mouse pad, polo shirt, as well as customizable jerseys. You can get your own race number and name on the back. Do check it out. I highly recommend the mouse mat as well. I've got it on my desk at the moment, and it's looking absolute fire. So definitely check it out if you can. Let's move over then to the stream. Hello and welcome. Glad to have you here. So as you can see, cars already going out on track. So let's just take a look and see who we can see. So we'll just go down through the field here. Apologies if you are used to the graphics we do have at the moment. As I haven't streamed in a while, I haven't been able to get the graphics working just yet. So we'll have to put up with the ACC graphics for now. But you've got my wonderful voice, I'm sure. You don't mind at all. And we're still going to have a really good race here today. There's going to be some testing conditions for the drivers today. It is going to be progressing towards the night very soon, so we will then require headlights at some point. That's always an extra little bit of a particular challenge. Good to see Uzebe back out on circuit here at the moment. How can Uzebe do out there today? We haven't seen him on circuit for a little while. That absolutely beautiful livery on that Ferrari. He's done a very good job with that one. So let's see how he can get on. But our reigning champion, Jay Stuckruth, how can he get on today? Carrying that number one, using plenty of the circuit. Sorry everyone, there we go, that's a little bit better. Now we're in broadcasting mode. I was wondering what was wrong there. There we go. Can you tell I'm a little bit rusty at this? So here we go. Julian then coming around through the final sector. As you can see with that star beside his name, marking that championship. Coming through nice and easy through the chicane. Mounting the sausage on the exit there. And then using all of the track on the way out. And what's it going to be across the line? So it is a 1:43.2 to kick off the session. And that then, for now, puts it on pole. His teammate Friedrich then, 44.1. So a little bit further off the pace. Potentially a mistake there in the final sector is not usually that far off Stuckruth. So let's see what else he can bring to the table here today. we go on board with then? Let's see how Ollie then is getting on at the moment. So still setting a lap here. I think potentially invalidated then on his first attempt. Yep, it's 1:46.0 for the Campos man. Another lovely livery on that Aston Martin. Ollie's been a fan of that Aston Martin for quite a while now, and has started to gain an awful lot of pace in that car. How far up the grid can he get today? Only time will tell. That's potentially a little bit too wide. He straddled a little bit of that sausage. That will, yeah, that hasn't validated that lap. So, unfortunately, Ollie will have to concede to the car behind there. And so, the timings then. So, Friedrich has improved considerably there. Only 0.3 off pole now, and he does have a purple sector 1 and purple sector 2 as well. It's very close in that first sector. So, only very slight margins. But that third sector is where our reigning champion is doing that a little bit better. Useby then all the way up to P3. 0.8 off the lead for the moment. He's carrying around an extra 20 kilograms. The custom BOP in these cars then tries to balance out all of the differences in performance between each of the different manufacturers, so that ultimately every car has an equal chance of being able to win the race. That's the theory anyway. Particularly interesting challenge at the minute for these drivers is, as we see yellow flag there in Sector 3, thankfully they do get out of the way. Ollie following the car in front very closely. It looks like it's affecting his lap time at the minute. He does seem a bit quicker than that Porsche in front, but he's going to get a bit of a tow here, and it will give him a valid lap. Let's see where he goes to. And for now it's P13. So a 45.2. We know the Aston Martin man can do a little bit better. So Gabe, another of the Ferrari drivers then, putting himself P7 for now, the number 19, with a beautiful red and black livery. That is very well done. I like that one. Number 19. Doing a good job for now. Fourth out of all of the Ferraris. Those Fords, though, well out in front for the moment. And in case you are new around here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. You can see some of the drivers have a silver background, some of them have a red background, and some of them have a white background. We use those colours to denote if that driver is experienced with us here in Phoenix Sim Sport. Red means they are a relatively new driver. They may very well be experienced and have plenty of races under their belt, but they are new here to competing in Phoenix. Grey then means they have plenty of experience here in our races, as Kieb then shoots up to P4 to go second out of all of the Ferraris, then jumping Kelly in the process. And finally, the white colour is our champions. So at the moment we have 2 champions on the grid. We have Stuckworth, our current reigning champion, as we have mentioned earlier, and Usby as well. So let's see. So it looks like all drivers have got a representative time on the board now. Usby with that fastest Sector 3, that is very interesting. He is losing out considerably in that Sector 1. Can he do anything about that? Or is that just the Ferrari is going to struggle there? Or the Ford's just that little bit better in that first sector? Only time will tell. Let's see if we can go on board then. So let's see. Friedrich. Can we get anything more? What a 43-1 at the minute. Yes, indeed it is. Thank you very much, Altosis. There is quite the battle on today. Only 20 points separating at the top of the table, and the end of the season is rapidly approaching. Who is going to get it in the end? There's only one way to find out, and that is sticking with us here today. That's another wonderful livery on the Ravage Phantoms. That might have been a little bit too wide there from Lucas. Let's see, does he continue on this lap? And right to the edge of the circuit, using absolutely everything. So that was a 43.8, a little bit off his best pace so far. So it's not going to be an improvement at the moment. 3/10 to the pole time. That final sector, still losing 1/10 to Stuckworth ahead. Hopefully the blue flag ahead of us here will get out of the way. And unfortunately not. I think we have caught on stream there Friedrich getting blocked by the 556 there of Jay Chu, who did have blue flags. I assume that is then they were on an out lap. So that's really unfortunate for the 999. Don't quite know if that was going to be an improvement. Just over 6 minutes then left here in qualifying. And at the moment, no one has been able to knock Julian off that top spot. So for now, that pole position is looking very, very safe. 3/10 is a lot of time to try and gain. Doesn't sound like an awful lot, but It's tricky. So Friedrich then choosing to box for now. Is that it from this session, or will he be back out on circuit? Let's go on board with Wilson. See how they're doing at the moment. Very shiny green livery on that Porsche. I can almost see myself in the store there. Sorry, bad joke. Gabriel driving for 757 in the 673 Porsche. Has driven with Phoenix for a few seasons now. In P15 at the moment. So looking to get some solid points today. On a 45-1 at the moment. Porsche only getting an extra 2 kilograms of BOP. As Wilson rounds the final corner, what is this going to be for a lap time? It's 45.16, or sorry, 145.112. So that's a slight improvement then for Gabriel. So good work. It's not position because I think someone else has jumped above. So for now, Wilson will have to settle for P16. Still 3 minutes left to go here in qualifying. Who can pull it out of the bag? Friedrich is back out on circuit again. So 143.172, the current best that Lucas can do. How much of an improvement can we see? Track conditions have been optimum for a while, so there's not an awful lot of track evolution we are going to see for the remainder of the session. Also, temperatures holding pretty stable at 18 degrees. Go then as we come around chicane to prepare for a lap. What can we see from the 999? It's a 42.957, so that was actually a hot lap we did see there. So that then does move him considerably closer to the pole time, but still not quite there. It's 0.140 off at the moment. Just really losing a little bit, around about half a tenth in each sector. That's adding up to that 1.5 tenths there in total. So that is probably going to be it from Lucas there today. So we're not going to see much more of the Ford. Let's see if we can get on board with Julian is out there at the moment, trying to improve that hot lap time. 42.8 is a very good lap time indeed. Is he going to be able to take anything else out of it? Oh yes, we love a good helling cam. This is what we need in every piece of software. We can select to take a heli camera at any time. Wonderfully smooth through that chicane. I'm gonna come all the way to the line. A little bit of a wiggle there. It is a 142. 872, so a little bit off his best for now. So that is going to be it from Julian. And it looks like the vast majority of drivers then are wrapping up. Most are in the pits now. Let's see what the 444 can do for the Aston Martin. Currently sitting P16. That is with a 145.085, so a 2/10 improvement would be enough to gain a position. Let's see what we can do down into the final sector. Oh, a little wide on the entry there to the first part of the chicane. That could very well be enough to lose any potential gains. And it's not going to be enough then for the Aston Martin. So, your grid then is going to be led by our current reigning champion, followed by his teammate, Lucas. And then joining them in those potential podium positions is our current race director, GOVEE. He is going to be pressuring them the entire way, I am sure. So, just getting ourselves ready and prepared for the race. As always, a little bit of time between sessions, just as the server prepares itself to move over. And there we go, the session then has moved over. Let's get over to our race leader. Let's get to a better camera as well. And there we go, in spectator mode. Wonderful. So we are going to be starting here in the light in Barcelona, but we will be rapidly moving towards the night. It is a 7 p.m. start here, but it will be going dark before the end, so we will see the drivers driving on headlights towards the end of the race. Everyone just taking a little bit of time to prepare their cars and set their pit strategies before we go out on the formation lap. We use a full formation lap here at Phoenix Sport for these races. I think it helps build that little bit extra tension before the race as well, which is nice. But it does mean I have a little bit of time to fill for you before we do get underway. And Dutchdig then saying the speed wasn't quite there. Well, there's no points for qualifying. The points are all in the race. So good luck out there today. Have a good race. And 2 minutes to go. The driver should be wrapping up all those final changes. Any little tweaks to the tire pressure can be done here. The drivers want to be careful when they're progressing from a daytime to a nighttime race. That can sometimes mean the temperatures do drop considerably, and you want to adjust the tire pressures as a result to keep them within that window of performance. So all of those calculations all going on in the background as everyone prepares. Also thinking about how much fuel do they want to take on for this first stint versus how much they want to take on for the second stint. Do you want to go for a light fuel load at the start, have a bit of a lighter car, go fast at the start, and then slower car towards the end, or vice versa? Do you take on a lot of fuel now, get the slow stint out of the way, and then go really fast in your final stint? Both interesting strategy options. That is correct. We are, at the moment, missing our championship leader, Nico. So that is going to be an awful lot of dropped points here today. Because we have 50 points on offer for the race win. So it does mean a very good opportunity then for other drivers to gain very valuable positions as we get ready to go here. 20 seconds countdown to the start of the formation lap. And it is looking like a 19-degree track out there, so a tiny bit warmer than qualifying, but not an awful amount. Approximately the same wind as well. It is in the opposite direction though, but it is a 9 km/h wind. And the cars then do get underway, led by Julian, who's going to take us around and prepare his tyres. Usually at this phase of the race, you want to be bringing everything up to temperature. You'll be making sure to use the brakes plenty, use the tires, put a lot of energy through that system so that everything gets up to temperature. You want your tires getting close to 80 degrees centigrade and your brakes, in the hundreds of degrees centigrade. That is usually the performance window of these types of components. Beautiful little heli cam shot there, and we can see actually there's interestingly there's an Audi in P4. It's not often we see an Audi up there, so good to see. Let's see how the number 66 gets on through the race. Keeping a close eye there. Suffocating also potentially a little bit out of position. Potentially a bit of a struggle during qualifying. So let's see how far can he make it through the grid here today as well. And if I am not mistaken, the Ferrari 557, let's just go down there now. First race here with Phoenix Sim Sport, I think. If I am wrong, please do correct me. But welcome. glad to have you here. Hope you have a good race. Who else do we have as well? My good friend, John, the 555. Welcome, buddy. Down there in P19. But hey, you can make up positions. Go on, I believe in you. Anyway, have a good race. As we go, we prepare now for the start. Let's get over to the leaders. I think we'll go for a helicam start. I think that's probably the best, isn't it? Everyone then rounding the final corner. This is a rolling start here as always. We hold speed at 70 kilometers per hour and green light. Away we go then. And it looks like a pretty good start then from Julian. Gonna stick it around the outside. Goes a bit wide. That is gonna then allow Julian to take the lead. So for now, we have got a 1-2 for Ravage Phantoms. It does look like Usby then has dropped the position. Down to P4 here. The Audi has made their way up into P3. That's good to see. Oh, as we see, a massive collision here. Let's get to this. Sorry. So Melwin, number 40, getting tapped into by I don't think it was Ollie. Ollie potentially getting involved there, unfortunately. We do see number 44 with the drive-through as well. That is likely for exceeding. Oh no, that might be a sign penalty actually. So I think potentially the one caused the collision earlier was Kelly. Looks like it was that car. But we will need to just confirm that. There's a bit of damage on the front of that Ferrari, so that will be a bit of a struggle from there. Ollie then down into P20, unfortunately. But Julian at the front here, leading away, closely followed by his teammate, who goes for it down the inside. So Lucas then taking the lead of the race away from his teammate, but Julian immediately comes back in turn 3 and is going to take that position back. But yeah, Lucas was thinking about carrying it around the outside, but it's definitely tough to hold it there. Usby up into P3 makes it past our Curlin then, and can now make his way and chase down these two Fords. If you can read this, you are too close. Absolutely legendary saying on the back of Usby's car. The ID then potentially struggling a little bit here at the start of the race. The pace of the Audi seeming to fall back towards the number 19 here. Still able to keep up with Usby reasonably well. So let's see how Robert does. Gabe almost sending it down the inside, but not quite able to. Down into the chicane. And that Ferrari behind pressuring him all the way. So we might see him move down into turn 1. Here we go. Let's go to Helicam. And yeah, right in that slipstream. And Gabe does set the fastest lap of the race so far. So he's potentially going to send it down the inside here at turn 1. He is down the inside. There is contact. And that was very aggressive indeed. A bit of a bump for position. So the Audi does cut the circuit and hold on to position. Now Is that leaving the circuit and gaining an advantage? That is something that the stewards will want to look at, but at the same time, the Audi was pushed into that position due to the Ferrari, so that is maybe something that the stewards want to have a look at. It's not necessarily going to be a penalty for either driver, but an interesting situation all the same. The drama here in Barcelona kicking off. As we see now, Jan then is going to look potentially at a move on the Ferrari ahead. So now, after that attempted move from the Ferrari, starting to fall back a little bit from the Audi. We're getting a little bit of a train forming here from P4 down to 5, 6 and 7. Coco rounding out this little quartet. And Ferrari not quite able to stick as close this time. The Lamborghini is going to have a good chance here to pull right up behind the Ferrari. Probably won't be a move on this lap, and it's not. So Jan will have to settle in, but also has a very rapid Coco behind as well in that McLaren. Number 231. Then kind of in a little bit of free air here. Our good friend Mr. Titius Kenzo, and in that absolutely wonderful livery. In P8 at the minute, having a bit of a quiet race, but doing well, and you know, at the moment, reasonable pace. So just in that little bit of no man's land where he's faster than the cars behind, but not quite able to keep up with the train ahead. So let's keep an eye how the Frenchman does through the rest of this race. Can he bring out that baguette power to catch those cars ahead? Amar then, his teammate, is leading up the train behind. Well, actually, it has fallen a little bit. It's now John that is leading this. Not quite. He gets overtaken by the Ferrari, and then the Triple 4 is going to try and make his way around the outside as well. This is quite the pack. There's quite a lot of wrestling and a massive push off the circuit there from the Aston Martin. Ooh! Jay Spinner getting all kinds of involved in this. Up to P13 at the minute, which is a good position there for Jake. Can he make the move on that Aston Martin ahead? Not quite this lap, so he's going to have to settle in behind. 757 Motorsport, his team. So for now, up to P13, doing a good job. John then extending that gap a little bit to the Triple 4, trying to chase down the cars ahead. Quite a lot of positions gained here by Mr. Koyo GT. He's up from P19, so so far a very good race here from the BMW. Can he catch that Ferrari ahead? Linus for now with that Desperados livery. That's another good livery there. Let's see how he gets on. Let's take a look at the timing screens for now. So at the moment, we have just over 8 minutes of racing time complete. The gap between Julian and Lucas, only 4/10 at the moment. Used to be falling behind a little bit, down to a 4-second gap to the lead. And we've got Robert in that Audi, down at 6 seconds from the lead. And then the second Ferrari, 7.3. And Jan at 9.6. Coco 10 seconds. Mr. Tachus. Just reset before I was able to read that. I think it was 14 seconds off the lead. So, let's see. John coming under a little bit of pressure here from this 444. Looks like they've just got a little bit extra pace in the tank at this phase of the race. Wobby, you absolute legend, has just subscribed at tier 1. Thank you very much. Absolutely wonderful. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream, and I did hydrate. Hashtag not sponsored. I wish. Sponsored by Pepsi Max, I think. Oof. I would just have it intravenously, you know, straight in the veins. Anyway, enough about that. We've got a nice little battle here for P11 and downwards. Emre is looking very close here. Let's get over to the helicam. In that slipstream of the car ahead. It's not going to be enough though, but the cars behind are going to go side by side. Spinner is going to have a car round his outside here. And it can't quite be held. So the 77 has to give it up for now, but then is going to go down the inside at turn 4. And beautiful space given. Oh, Jake scared off the line there. But plenty of space given. He's going to go down the inside turn 5 though to make sure to defend against Melwin. So for now, Spinner then down to P14. Beautiful move from the other Porsche. Now he's going to be under pressure from Melwin behind. And Kelly as well, trying to make his way back through the field. And Spinner going a little bit wide, but here we have... Oh, he went the wrong way. John getting overtaken by 2 drivers. As we see a Ferrari going wide, and that tags Kelly. No! Kelly spun around, facing the wrong way, tagged. I think that was by Melwin. Oh, that's really unfortunate. This race is not going Kelly's way at all. The number 91 would have hoped to be an awful lot further up the field here. But yeah, 2 major incidents during this race. That is just really unfortunate. As we see already, we are only 13 minutes into this race and we're starting to get people boxing. Ollie back up to P15 for now. So far, let's see as we roll around. 5 seconds off the car ahead, so Ollie has a little bit of catching up to do, but he's got some good solid pace in that car, so let's see how he can get on. So this cluster once again, these 4 cars seem to be completely glued together. Emre leading this pack in P11 at the moment. Oh, how did we see a car, yellow flag there before turn 9? Not quite sure who that was. Looked like a Ferrari. We'll be able to tell once we get to the next timing line. Oh no, it might have been Coco. Coco. Down in P17, unfortunately. So, the lone McLaren. Oh! I really should commentate that as it was happening, but Emre bumping over the sausage curbs there in the final corner. That's going to open up a space for the 555. 555 timer racing. I really appreciate that. That's very good. I like that. As an electrical engineer, I get that. Not quite enough momentum to be able to make it past the Aston Martin on this particular lap. But John knows now he can apply a little bit of pressure. He knows that Emre ahead has already made one mistake. So certainly there is the potential for another. 8 PM here out on track. The temperature has dropped to 17 degrees. Tires will then eventually begin to get a little bit colder. Only a 2-degree drop since the start of the race, so it's not huge at the moment. Shouldn't be affecting the drivers an awful lot. We'll hydrate once again. This would have been a nice little battle to have been a part of. It is tough at times to do commentary for you wonderful people and to watch some great racing that you do want to be involved in. It's one of those things, it can be quite tricky to be a commentator. So John with his best lap time so far, so he is picking up the pace right now. Car getting a little bit lighter. Ooh, he's gone a bit deep into turn 1 though, and that is going to mean he cuts across the sausage curbs. That potentially could have been a massive track cut warning, so he's going to need to be careful. But keeping that gap to the car in front. Let's take a look then at this little run of cars. Let's go on board with Amar. So Amar then chasing down his teammate. His teammate Tachus here struggling a little and getting overtaken then. So Tachus, and he might lose another position because Linus right there as well, but good teamwork blocks it off. But no, Tachus is going to lose a position here to Linus. Ooh, a little bit of door bumping. A little bump there as well. That did send the Ferrari a little wide. Need to be careful of that. A little bit of rubbing is fine. That's part of racing. But you need to make sure you don't cause an advantage as a result. So, let's go on board with Tachus. Yeah, quite a bit of a slow lap there, down into the 48s at the moment. Normally running 45s. I wonder, is that then wasn't a mistake on this lap? It looks like he's recovered that pace back up again. Okay, so can he hold position? Good team result here for MTA Motorsport. They are up into P6 and 7, but yeah, I think Tachus struggling a lot with understeer. Car doesn't seem to want to turn for him, and the Ferrari all over his rear. There is the potential at this phase of the race, as temperatures do start to cool down. We are 20 minutes into this race now, and yeah, Tachus just going that little bit wide. With us getting into Oh, he's getting very close to touching his teammate. But the Frenchman able to stop the car just in time without touching Amar. But Amar struggling here as well. I wonder, is this a particular BMW issue here? Or are these guys just now really starting to get to a point? Yeah, 47.2. Pace definitely has dropped since their best, while other drivers are getting quicker. Ferrari's going to turn around the inside. No, it's contact between teammates, and that is going to then let the Ferrari through. So the two teammates do come together, and that then is two free positions for the 557. They will be a little bit gutted about that. The Frenchman back in front again. Belgian in behind. So a little bit of teammate controversy there. I wonder, has teammate controversy ever happened here before? Never. Never has two McLarens ever crashed into each other. Anyway. So, wonder will this battle then settle down. Let's go have a look then at battle 4. If we can find it. 4P4 and P5. So, Gabe then right on the gearbox of the Audi ahead. Let's go on board with him. Let's see what this looks like. To be right in behind the rear wing of the 66 ahead. A little bit loose on the rear there from the Ferrari. I wish we could see the tire pressures from the spectator view. That would be lovely. Definitely the Ferrari really starting to struggle with that rear stability. But has enough pace to be able to stay close to the Audi here. Now we're starting to get into the window of potentially starting to think about, do you undercut the driver ahead? The undercut can sometimes be difficult to pull off here in ACC. Usually the overcut is better. But if the driver ahead is going to go for a long time as well, then potentially you want to undercut them and try to drive some fast laps and hopefully clean air. Very close to touching the rear of the car there. Let's go inside the helmet of the Ferrari. Beautiful view. And back to helicam. Are we going to see a move down into turn 1? No, still too far back for the Ferrari. So he's going to have to hold on for now. As we now start to get well into the night here in this race. 8:30 p.m. on track. Still 17 degrees. Audi going very wide out of turn 3. But gets back under control for turn 4. But that certainly does allow Gabe to catch up a considerable amount. This is the battle of the red plates. Hello, Destroyer Drac. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Hello. Have you not seen me on... Well, this is the first time I've had the webcam up properly. So first time I've been on camera during the stream. Hopefully you don't mind looking at me and my crazy reactions. Anyway, hope you're enjoying the stream. Yeah, and you know, hopefully we can see you on track sometime in the future. Imagine wanting to play cricket instead. Imagine, instead of sim racing. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. And just looking at the times, Ferrari does look like it's got an extra about a second of pace in it. But just can't find a way past the Audi. Audi doing a very good job to defend here, but suffering from understeer rather in turn 3. What opens up that little bit of a gap. 25 minutes through this race so far. The only drivers to have pitted so far is Ivanov, Branzo, Kelly, and Coco. Speaking of, though, our good friend Ollie boxing then for his pit stop. And there we go. Absolutely no mechanics. Terrible. Terrible that they couldn't even bring any mechanics out for him. So, Ollie then will lose some positions, but then he's got 35 minutes to use nice fresh tyres to be able to salvage what he can out of this race. As we see, the leaders then go by. So, our reigning champion at the moment, still holding down that lead. Being chased by his teammate, the 999. But at the moment, it just looks like Julian has that little bit extra pace in it at the moment. But we're still yet to really get into the depth of night here. And pit stops always can throw up driver errors. So let's see what happens. Let's go to his teammate for now. And best 42.9, but last was a 44.0. So the leader pace at the moment in the 44s. As we see, another degree of track temperature has dropped. So as we say, the drivers will need to start now thinking more and more about what pressures do I want my tyres to be on. Lucas suffering a little bit from oversteer there in the hairpin. Caught it okay, but a little bit of a worrying sign of tyre wear. So does he want to start thinking now about boxing? Still doesn't for the moment. Does carry on. So, yes, as we say, drivers want to start thinking more and more now about the second phase of this race. What tyre pressures do they want to set in the pit stop, which will allow them then to maintain as high a pace as possible to get to that window of performance around about 26.7 psi. Or whatever that may be in bar. Good evening, Dark Pengu. Welcome. Hopefully you're doing well and enjoying the stream. And as we get close to crossing the halfway point here in the race, we're getting close to 9 PM on track conditions as well. And it's looking very dark out there for the drivers. As we say, that brings its own little challenges whenever you are in the cockpit. Each of your braking references can change. number one, because it does get a little bit cooler on track. That changes where you would brake normally, but as well, each of your braking references just looks a little bit different. Some things you can't quite spot in your peripheral vision anymore because your lights aren't on it at the right time, so it can get a little bit more tricky to pick out certain things. It can also be tricky to pick out other cars as well at times. You know, generally the cars are quite well lit. Let's go a little bit down further through the field then. So Spitter in for his pit stop. P13 at the moment. But net position, we won't know. There we go. That is confirmation of the halfway mark then. 30 minutes into this race. Renee, the 711, chasing down Jan in front. These drivers then have boxed, so Camacho, the 77 ahead, is the lead driver of those that have already boxed. So these drivers are fighting for position. This genuinely is a fight for position. Wilson ahead, leading this train then, who has also boxed and is P2 out of these ones that have already pitted. So these guys then will want to try to get through traffic as quickly as possible to make you know, any potential undercuts work. If you get stuck in traffic and you've already pitted, you're using up your nice fresh tires and not able to get that really good pace out of them yet. As we see the 444 and 555 boxing at the same time. Let's see where they come out in relation to this little train ahead. So they should come out ahead of this train, as we see Emre already leaving the pits, and John as well. So they hold on to P10 and P11 respectively, and the 77 is going to have to settle for P12 for now. So Renee being chased down here, or actually I think having already overtaken Jan Ivanov. Yes, there we go, it has updated now, and Joel Kelly in P16 looking to get through as quickly as possible. Oh, I think that was a bit of a slide there for Kelly. It is. Something happened there. He lost the rear of the car on the entry to the corner. That has cost him a considerable amount of time. He's then lost track of the back of this train for now. He's going to need to push to catch back up and to then potentially gain position. As we see Amar and Mr. Tuchus both boxing, and the other BMW as well. The 556 of J. Chu. Oh, Amar getting a stop-go 30! And that is potentially, most likely, as a result of speeding in the pit lane, unfortunately. So that is not good news for the MTA Motorsport team. That is unlucky. But that's unfortunately what can happen whenever you jump in the pits. Our net race leader, Stukrith, then has already made his pit stop, as we can see, and has come out plenty ahead of his teammate. So 26 minutes to go in this race. P5 at the moment, but that will still result in P1 once all of the pit stops are completed. So we still have the 557 who is pitting at the moment. We have the number 19, number 66, and Uzabi, who have not pitted yet. Everyone else is already fighting for position, and the other BMW of J2 as well is coming away with a stop-go 30. That is going to hurt an awful lot. You lose an awful lot of positions with a stop-go penalty, so that is going to be very disappointing then for those guys. That speeding in the pit lane hurts an awful lot. So let's just see again what POV looks like from Lucas's helmet. Trying to stick with his teammate as best he can. Track conditions holding steady at 16 degrees for now. That is 3 degrees colder than we had at the start of the race. It will start to impact the temperature in the tyres a little bit. As Amar then does go into the pits to serve that stop-go. And the number 19 then also in the pits as well. Ollie now caught up with D Coco, looking to make up another position hopefully. See a huge splash of sparks there coming from under Ollie's car. I always find it really cool to see the glowing exhaust pipes on these cars at night. Cool little effect. How much pressure can Ollie place on this McLaren ahead? Let's just see what it is like from the cockpit of that Aston Martin. It's got a relatively good run here on the McLaren. The number 95 could look at a move down into turn 1. It would be from a long way back. So it's not going to happen on this occasion, but he closes right up through turn 1. He's going to be very close to his gearbox all the way through this lap. And in the meantime, we are catching... I think that is a blue flag ahead who does make contact. I think that was potentially Coco's fault there, who hit the throttle too early and just understeered wide as we see a car off track, but they stay off track and you know, remain nice and safe. That's good. Yeah, I think Coco, unfortunately, didn't expect that blue flag to be there, gunned the throttle too early, and resulted then in the car understeering wide and making contact with that blue flag. Unfortunate, but it happens, and it does mean then a free position for Ollie up into P14 for now. That is all pit stops complete, so with 21 minutes remaining in this session. Yellow flags once again. 21 minutes remaining in this session. And all drivers now fighting for position. Someone coming into the pit stop. Potentially that is due for their drive-through. Or, sorry, stop-go. So that is going to be served now. Still points on the table. Points do go down to 20th place. We do lose another degree of track temperature. So we are down now to 15 degrees. And here we can see Ivanov and Kelly battling here over P12. Sorry, getting attacked here. Kelly doing a good job try and recover from those earlier incidents. This stint looks like it's gone that little bit smoother. Hopefully we can see a nice move here with no further incidents. Did have a good drive out of into the chicane, but he lost a little bit on the exit. I think took a little bit too much sausage, and that Lamborghini has got some legs on it, so it likely is just going to pull away, and it does. So Kelly's not going to be able to attack on this particular lap. Emre then leading up this little trio of the 444, 555, and the 673 of Wilson. So John back into P10 again then. Let's see how much he can gain out of this. That is 9 positions since the start of the race though, so that is a very, very good race for the 555. Doing well out there. And then we've got to choose once again just kind of out there in no man's land. Unfortunately, since his teammate did have to serve that stop and go, and is now down in P17, although might be another position because Robert Pranzo has had the box. I assume that is probably for damage somewhere along the line. Yep, so that means then Amar up into P16. As we see then, this is the 77 getting past a blue flag. So that is for Chu. Yep. Chu making it nice and easy. Hopefully we'll do the same for to choose behind. Oh, a little bit of a block. But then gets out of the way on the exit of turn 3. And the drivers can now continue. So Linus then as well. Other driver just kind of out here on their own. Just driving their own race. Good result. P6 so far. Still 17 minutes to go. So still plenty can happen in that time, but you know, a reasonable position. Then these two guys have been fighting since the start, but it does look like Gabe has got past the Audi then at some point over that pit stop phase. But the Audi now has picked up that little bit of pace and is sticking with the number 19 ahead. So it is still all to play for that P4. Certainly is not over yet. Hello Jonas, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you're enjoying it okay. We are properly in the depths of night. It is 9:30 in track conditions. With just over 15 minutes to go, we are 3/4 of the way through this race. It is coming into its closing phases now. Audi has an absolutely beautiful sound to it, and it's one of those cars was an absolute joy to drive. It can be tricky at times, and it can bite you if you're not careful, but definitely it was a nice car to drive. One of those cars that has quite a bit of oversteer on corner entry. The weight transfer of the car resulting in a very loose back end as the car enters the corner. Suits some drivers, doesn't suit others. Let's see if we can have a look further down through the field. So we have got this is Mr. Tchus then battling the number 77 for P7. So Tchus then has caught up to another driver. What was that as a result of a mistake on part of the 77? Because there was a good bit of an error gap there. But they are now nose to tail. And this could get exciting. Can Tchus upgrade himself to P7? It's not going to be down into the hairpin this time. Very few places here in Sector 3 to be able to make a move. So really, all Tchus can do, what he does, have a look down into the chicane. That puts the Porsche off just a little bit, which does give then Tchus an excellent run out of the final corner. He is now right into that slipstream of the Porsche, while the Porsche is going to be good in a straight line. That BMW has the legs to pull up alongside, and they are side by side down into turn 1. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? Tchus does make the move then, and what a beautiful move it is. The Porsche getting a little loose on exit in turn 2, but isn't able to fight back for now. So the question is now, how far down the road can Mr. Tchus get? Or is the 77 going to battle back once again? Oh, excuse me. Let's just have a wee stretch. Oh, and Wilson getting a drive through. So Wilson up in P10. Really, really good position for Gabriel. But unfortunately, drive through that would have to be assumed is for track limits. You can get up to 4 track limits. On your 4th, a drive-through is awarded. So really, I should say you can get 3, and on your 4th, a drive-through is awarded. So unfortunately, that is going to result, and that, actually, Wilson is up into P9. So that is unfortunate for the Porsche man. Drive-through is going to hurt an awful lot and drop several positions, but that is the way of it. There has to be a line somewhere, and while with these GT cars generally they want to use an awful lot of curb almost everywhere, yep, there is a point where it is too far, as we are just over 10 laps, or 10 minutes rather, from the end of this race. Would any of you mind if I sent myself a hydrate? Lil Maverick will be in hydrate. Thank you, Lil Maverick. Once again, not sponsored, but I wish. So, this is a nice little battle shaping up here. The question is, when is the Porsche head going to box? It has to be done within 3 laps. So, while we've already skipped one that looks like Wilson, then boxing now to serve that drive-through. That will let Emre through, and Koyo GT as well for the 555 timer team. Love it. But can John get anyone close to that Aston Martin ahead? It looks like that BMW has a little bit extra pace in it to be able to catch up to the 444. But can it be held consistently? That is the question. Track conditions holding steady at 15 degrees at the moment. So hopefully, if drivers have made the right selections during the pit stop for their tire pressures, they have remained stable for now. Let's take a look at these two behind, though, because we have got Kelly still in that recovery phase, trying to get past Jan Ivanov here, potentially looking to attempt to pass before the leader comes up and blue flags them, but the leaders are getting very close right now. They're going to need to think about conceding to the cars behind, but the Lamborghini goes very wide. That's going to result in them being side by side. They touch down into turn 4, but Kelly does make it through. Blue flags waving then for the Lambo. So they will need to get out of the way. That is an awful long time to be sitting in front of the leader. Hopefully they realize they're there. they do then eventually let the leader through. Next up then, Kelly then is the next one to get blue flagged. It's always a tricky situation being involved in getting blue flagged. You want to run your own race, but at the same time you have someone who is, you know, fighting for a championship right behind you, and you want to lose the minimum amount of time possible, while also making sure that you don't affect that battle behind. So it's a tricky situation, but it's something that every driver at some point in their career has to be able to manage. You know, it doesn't matter where you are on the grid. At some point, you know, most people will experience getting blue flagged at some point. And it looks like then Lucas also getting through nice and clean on the Lamborghini as well, and can then progress forward. So we come back then to this battle for P9, and John getting close, but just not quite able to really close up to that Aston Martin just yet. Needs to be right under that rear wing to be able to think about making a move. And with the leaders coming up very soon as well, 4 minutes left to go in this session. You know, so it's starting to come to a close. The move's got to be made sooner rather than later. If the leaders catch them, it may be over and done with. But that BMW looking an awful lot better through the chicane. Just looks like the BMW wants to turn in a little bit more than the Aston Martin. He's able to get it down to the apex as he wants to. And talking about it having to be sooner rather than later, he has got very close to Emre ahead. He's gonna have to send it somewhere. The leader getting very close behind. 3 minutes to go. We are rapidly approaching the final lap. Oh, as Gabe in P5 getting a drive-through. I wonder what that was for, because I think they were in the pits before the drive-through popped up. No, it must be for track limits, and they pitted just as it showed up or something. Oh, that is interesting, but drive-through served and holds P5, so he had the gap, and 555 here needs to get out of the way of the leader. Those blue flags will have been flashing for a little bit, and he does go nice and wide to allow that Mustang past. And he will then be hoping that Emre ahead loses a considerable amount of time as a result of blue flags. Let's just see Julian as he makes his way through here. He does down the inside, nice and clean, beautiful, and is now well on his way. As we go back to Emre. Now, the issue for John is now he has got Lucas right on his tail. So another blue flag driver, just as he is catching up to the Aston, goes a bit wide. That may have impeded Lucas just a little, but he's also kept an awful lot of momentum there to be able to follow through. Interestingly, I think that used to be in the background.
Pit window is now closed.
And oh no, if you wanted to pit, you no longer can. It won't. I've lost everything. So John now has let all the cars through that he needs to let through. It's Kelly behind John, actually. Kelly could very well get involved in here too, but this is now the final lap of the race. And Emre has let all the traffic through that he needs to let through. The leaders with enough of a gap that, unless there is a major mistake somewhere, this is Julian's to lose. And this little battle here looks like the gap is a little bit too big too, although John catching right up now. To the rear of the 444. I don't think it is going to be enough though. Let's take a look through the rest of the field just to be sure. Robert then does drop to final position as Coco does make his way through. Not an awful lot more drivers bunched up anywhere. But as we see then, Julian coming through the chicane. Let's go to Helicam as we see our reigning champion, Sturkarith, coming across the line and winning here in Barcelona. Round 7 goes to Julian, and it is a 1-2 for Ravage Phantoms Motorsport as well, as Lucas then comes home in P2 as well. An excellent result for the Ford guys. And yep, that is a very good chunk of points for that team. And John then does finish P10. A good race up to P10 from P19, so I think he can be happy with that result. Usby then comes home P3, which is a good result for returning from a little bit of a sabbatical. Hope you enjoyed that, Usby. A little bit of a lonely race. He was not quite quick enough to stay with the Fords, but also considerably quick enough to hold on to that podium. So it's another podium to chalk up. So definitely that is a good result for him there. The Audi of Robert Curlin then comes home P4. Does eventually beat Gabe, who did have to serve that quite late drive-through, but it does mean then that our Curlin does come home P4. And Gabe, the number 19, coming home in P5. Linus then in P6. The Juice is going to bring it home in P7. Good result there. Unfortunate about his teammate. That pit lane speeding infraction cost the team some points there today. So, a very interesting session there today. There was quite some battles and a massive chunk of points then going to the Ford boys. So they can be very happy with that indeed. How that looks in the championship standings, you'll have to stick with us and watch for the standings channel to see how that goes. It has been an interesting race there today. Quite a challenge in the night here at Barcelona. We have only a few rounds left of this season. Make sure you catch us for the next one. I have been Maverick, and it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the stream today. Hopefully we can be on track next week, and you'll be able to watch me have skill issues. And we'll see you then for the next one. Please don't forget to join us. Set reminders if you need to, because the streams and watching the streams certainly helps us out. And as well, don't forget as well to visit phoenixsimsport.co.uk. Check out the shop. Remember, there's plenty of customizable stuff there that you can check out, and you can get yourself that Phoenix cap. I need to get myself one. Should have worn my Phoenix cap for today, or my Phoenix shirt. Something for the next stream. Anyway, I've been Mav, as I say, and it's been a pleasure. I'm just waffling now, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you.